And good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition here of the Mass Steel Podcast, with, of course, yours truly, Charles Prodigy Richey. As the Steelers off season continues right now, nonetheless, we've got some exciting news to share, some more honors for some key Steelers players as the awards keep falling their way. I'm talking about none other than outside linebacker and free safety TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick. We're going to get into that in just a moment, too. But anyway, aside from that, Steeler Nation, hope everybody's been enjoying the playoffs. I know with the Steelers being out right now, still a bitter taste in everyone's mouth. But I will say this: the NFL playoffs, man, it's got to be off the charts so far, in my opinion. I mean, either way, when you look at these Final Four matchups going in right now, they got the Packers hosting the Bucks right now, which more than likely was probably the last time we ever saw of Drew Brees, which I'm sure we did. Then you also got the Bills going on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. It'll be interesting to see how Patrick Mahomes responds, clearing through concussion protocol. You heard Boomer Esiason saying on the post-game show that he expects he'll be just fine. And Reed said that Mahomes was doing just fine after the game, so we'll keep tabs on that. But either way, when you look at the mixture of quarterbacks that are in this game, I mean, think about it. Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. One could argue that's the pre-Super Bowl before the Super Bowl matchup in a way. And then aside from that, too, you also got Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Now, how effective will Patrick Mahomes be right now coming out? Will he have any rust, hesitation, or any kind of struggles coming out of the gate? Definitely took a nasty hit during the game yesterday by Cleveland, and where he had to leave early in the fourth quarter with a little over 11 minutes to go, I want to say it was at that point. I mean, you got to give the Browns a hell of a lot of credit for what they did. But at the end of the day, if you guys saw in my tweets or in my posts, listen, this is definitely a different team since they came back. I mean, one in the last 2 decades, getting their first playoff win in a long time. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to start any trash or anything, but Browns are still the Browns. I mean, they haven't proved anything to me to get to the next step or yet alone be a Super Bowl team. I mean, I know the running joke is always, people always continue to make fun. Hey, I'm going to take the Browns to the Super Bowl. The thing is, they never experienced that taste. And even if they would have gotten to this AFC Championship game, definitely a heck of a lot of improvement. But at the end of the day, what's the finishing result? I don't think anyone expected them to go to the Super Bowl this early, but a lot of people were predicting, remember the last 2-3 years, that they're anticipating to eventually be Super Bowl favorites. And you look at the squad they had, too. It reminds you what the Browns were able to do down the stretch with Baker Mayfield. I mean, think about this. Imagine if they had Odell Beckham Jr. on this team. And just imagine, if we go back into the previous round versus Steelers, where they were going up against each other. I mean, where the Steelers got crushed. I mean, pretty much, to say the least, 48-37. Imagine if Odell Beckham Jr. was in this game, too. I mean, they have a lot of good receivers. I mean, you think of guys like outside Jarvis Landry. You got, Donovan Peoples-Jones right there. You also got Rashard Higgins. I mean, just think about it. I mean, go on, too. And a lot of people will definitely argue, too, right now, was that, I mean, what happens to the Browns' run game in that game? But nonetheless, to say the least, I think it's going to be a very exciting result to find out who's going to be representing in Super Bowl 55 in Tampa right now. Then you swing things over to the NFC side. You got Tom Brady, who avenged his previous 2 losses, thanks in large part to a heck of a Tampa Bay defense that forced Drew Brees throw towards the sideline in this game. And what they were able to do at the end of the day to finally knock off Drew Brees after getting humiliated the last time, 30-3. And you saw right there, too, I mean, the Saints have a plus 46 point differential over the Bucks, and to finally get Drew Brees and that offense right there, I gotta tell you, if Tom Brady and that offense would have drove the field most of that game, probably be a different result. That defense was huge right there. I mean, you heard Bob Pompiani this morning on 937 The Fan. I was listening on the Cook and Joe show. He usually partners up with them on Mondays, a few days after he does his show on Saturday mornings from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Granted, there's no basketball or football games, but I think definitely right now, some people are wondering, even Ron Cook right now is wondering, is Devin White proved to be a little bit more better? I mean, than like Devin Bush in the draft. I mean, obviously, a lot of time time will tell, and we'll find out. But other than that, I'd like to get your thoughts right now. I mean, with the Steelers being out, what did you guys think of the playoffs? I think this has been a very well success for the league right now. A league who's been insisted they're going to keep marching forward right now, despite all the craziness, to get to where we're at right now. To see these playoffs coming to a finish, you're only one step away from getting to the Super Bowl. So two more. I mean, you got three more games right now. I mean, in the Final Four. And I got to tell you right now, this is a huge, huge victory for the National Football League, if you ask me, for what they've been able to pull off. I mean, they've been sticking to their guns right now, just keeping through with the season, and they sure have. And this is where we're at right now. So if you guys want to follow me on social media, you can definitely follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Prodigy Richey. For the Mass Steel Podcast on Twitter, it is at Mass Steel CGR, at Mass Steel Nation on Instagram, as I'm streaming live only on Facebook for tonight right now. Now let's go ahead and get some other topics real quick surrounding the game right now. And one of the things, too, you heard Bill Cowher during halftime yesterday on CBS basically was like campaigning for the idea, because here's the thing, too. When you have like offenses that are trying to score on defenses, and you know the rule, like if you happen to fumble the ball either past the goal line and it goes out of bounds, or if you fumble it, crosses the plane and goes past the end zone, it turns out being a touchback. You get no points. It goes to the goes to the opponent's possession right there. Bill Cowher was making a suggestion as far as not having people lose possession. I mean, but rather instead let the team maintain the possession, but also right now just have it go back to the 20-yard line right there. Because you saw right there with Rashard Higgins, too, because there was another controversial play on that, too. And what we saw yesterday was a guy leading in with the helmet right there. I'm Rashard Higgins, and there was no helmet-to-helmet hit called. Now, as everyone is aware right now, helmet-to-helmet hits are not challengeable. They're not reviewed automatically by instant replay. They are, however, can disqualify a player. They could be ejected from the game, and that could later be reviewed and determine if they should be suspended or not, or pay like a fine. That we do know. But I'm going to tell you one thing right now, and I understand it's about integrity, protecting the players in the game right now, and make sure we're continuing to maintain safety. I'm not sure if I want to go that route where we look at it here. And here we go. It was by P. Sorensen, who right there was able to accidentally lean in on Rashard Higgins, hit him with the crown of the helmet, lowering his helmet. It was a play that was not called. Instead, it turns into a touchback. And you saw the Browns in that game. They were trailing 16-3 at that point, just moments before the closing moments of the half. And this happened under the 2-minute mark. So the Chiefs definitely got away with one. They were eventually able to set up for a field goal, go up by 2 possessions at the end of the half, commanding fashion. Now, here's the thing, too, where I do want to say real quick. The only pushback I have on this, I don't think I want to go that route, truthfully. I understand we're trying to protect the game, keep it clean as possible, but you look at something like the New Orleans Saints a couple of years ago with the missed pass interference call that should have been called on the LA Rams when the Saints were driving. I understand it was a very similar circumstance, real quick, but here's the only problem with that. They did end up having it on a trial basis that was approved by the executives and the competition committee. And we saw it try real quick. And there was many plays real quick, a couple in the season where it cost the Steelers a chance at a playoff. Even one arguable game was against the Seattle Seahawks. I think they were challenging for offensive pass interference, if I'm not mistaken. But still, I just feel like that was just right there at the end of the day. When you look at it, it was hardly any of them got overturned. It was very rare that teams would win those challenges. And that was it right there. So I just don't understand right there. But when we take a look at it, at the end of the day here, I mean, it was definitely a huge missed call, should have been called in the NFC Championship game. I think personally it took away from the Rams, who was actually trailing in this contest 2 years ago, which was Drew Brees' last legitimate shot. I mean, in that game, they're trailing as many by 13 points. They blew a 13-point lead in that game. And the Rams defense was slowly able to chip away right there.
For those of us who secretly like when the syrup touches all the other food,
there after the game,
we humbly offer
like
the
how
sausage,
robbed,
egg, and cheese McGriddles.
And definitely want something to be looked into not happen again.
Ball will be snapped in the center of the field, and he wants to throw it. Henny scrambling and comes to the near side. He's at the 40, 45, 50. Henny dives. He's close for a first down at the 49-yard line.
I mean, I think
really close.
Very petty
Chad
at the end of the day.
Jumps up and waves his arm toward the stands.
At the end of the day, too, when you look at it.
They snap it. They're going for it. They flood it right.
It was definitely right here. And I think the
same
key play was
close the game out against New Orleans.
They do it to Cleveland. It was a mispass interference call. I want to say it was by LaMarcus Joyner right there with a little over three and a half minutes
it's school.
left to go. No call
it's
right
open.
there.
It's online.
I mean, in that
it's traditional.
Contest, we look at
it's unconventional.
The Saints ended up, I think, going
it's
up
stories
by a field goal
of triumph and tragedy. It's confronting the past.
On the Rams.
It's fighting for our future.
So again, you want
it's
to go
not
that route,
just school.
Any fan want to see helmet Saints? I'm not sure.
Bell stays in at running back. Twist by the Browns up front. Slant cut.
When you see a bunch of stuff, plays and highlights and instant replay, and you look at it more closely, it exposes more flaws in the game that needs to be looked into. He almost feels like if we're going that route, I mean, it's like you almost need to start questioning everything. I don't want that, personally. I'm fine with the fact that if it's a missed call, league got a chance to review it during the week, and then they could possibly punish players, suspend them, or fine them if it was intentional. Obviously, you got in college football right now with targeting right there. I mean, for the NCAA rules, when we take a look at it, let's review that real quick. And basically means that a player takes aim at an opponent for purposes of attacking with forcible contact that goes beyond making a legal tackle or a legal block or playing the game. And it says no player shall target and make forcible contact against an opponent with the crown of the helmet. This foul requires there be at least one indicator of targeting, and one in question is a foul. Targeting and making forcible contact the head or neck area of a defensive player. And pretty much, I mean, what's one of the things too? If they decide to look into it, they got a chance where they could eject the player out of the game for this. And if a player receives a third targeting foul within the same season as disqualification for the remainder of the game, that player will receive an automatic one-game suspension in his team's next scheduled home game. Now, should the competition committee pass that along, are you for that as fans going forward? I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts right now. We're going to get into the Steelers highlights here in just a moment, but I definitely do feel like that is one of the things that's going to be a moment of controversy at the end of the day surrounding this thing as we get a little bit more closer. But other than that, who you guys like in the Super Bowl right now? I'm going to say right now, when we look at it, I mean, definitely a heck of a job right there. I mean, when you look at Devin White right there, who had the two key takeaways in that game versus New Orleans Saints. I mean, just who helped set up the game-tying touchdown and then the go-ahead field goal. I mean, and not only that, too. I mean, you also look at the running attack, too, by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wasn't all that flashy, but it did enough. I mean, as people were going on. You have Ronald Jones right there and Larry Fournette combining for 125 yards off of 20 carries, and then you had 2 more yards by Tom Brady. He had a total rushing attack of 35 attempts for 127 yards versus the Saints, who had 25 attempts for 104 yards. Alvin Kamara seemed to be not getting enough of the ball late, but Drew Brees throwing 3 interceptions, which more likely appeared to be his final game. 3 picks, only completing 19 of 34 passes for 134 yards. With a touchdown, don't forget, Jameis Winston was able to get a touchdown on his former team in that contest. I thought this was the game of the weekend. And I got to tell you right now, I've never seen a guy like Tom Brady before on this level. And to me, he is definitely, by definition, GOAT status here. And you cannot deny what this man is doing here. But at the end of the day, too, this guy right now is, if he's able to become the second player next to Peyton Manning to win the Super Bowl right now, I got to tell you, he's definitely making an incredible stake of claim to being the all-time GOAT. Because I'll be honest with you, I think, in my opinion, this officially settles the all-time GOAT separation, because many people will still put Joe Montana in this group. And I'm not sure right now if I'm willing to go, say he's not past him. I think he already has passed him. I think he's passed him once he made his 5th Super Bowl appearance, but that just never seems to be enough at the end of the day. I mean, this is a guy who took a little bit more of the challenging route, separating from Bill Belichick. I mean, due to the frustrations within the last 3 seasons together, when Belichick was trying to eye his replacement with Tom Brady at some point, but which never seemed to be the ultimate case. So right now, you got Tom Brady right now looking to become the first ever quarterback and first franchise as the Buccaneers to take his team and host the Super Bowl in their own home stadium against a real good offense with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, which is clicking. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game. I like their defense. Running game, I think just the matter right now, how can you slow down Aaron Rodgers? Cold weather has not been affecting this team. They've been 2-0. They've been averaging about 23 points per game in the cold against the Giants, which they won by 2 points earlier this year, then against the Washington football team. But I really do believe right now Tom Brady has found a way, leadership-wise And you definitely see him and Bruce Arians start to be more on the same page. It's just a good job just taking care of the ball.
In the pocket, throws over the middle, has a man.
So like I said, give me the Bills
Leonard Fournette
versus
on
the
Alex
Bucks, Super Bowl
Anzalone, and that is the
55.
matchup that they've been
Well,
going
that's
to
some
all day
Steelers
long.
topics right now.
At this point, I've got to put
mentioning before we went on air here. As announced by Steelers writer Teresa Varley, who writes for the Steelers and Steelers.com right now.
Lost one towards the goal line.
The Steelers have their opponents announced for this season. Of course, we don't know the exact time schedule, so find that out
right at the front pylon, and welcome
May.
back to the lineup, Traquan Smith.
The
Saints get a huge touchdown to open the second half.
I think that's just slot fade. That is. That's slot fade. He's matched up on a safety. Safety cannot cover you. There's no way that the safety can cover you in that particular situation. And actually, that's a corner.
West,
that is the backup corner that he has matched up. And
the Bills in Buffalo and the Titans at home. So the remaining road games for the Steelers on the road this season, they'll be on the road against the Packers and the Vikings. And the AFC West, they will be on the road against the Chiefs and Raiders. So the first time they'll be going to the Raiders' new stadium in Las Vegas. Now for their home opponents this year. Steelers will be hosting the Chicago Bears, which they have not beaten, pretty much, and they're looking to end a 15-year drought. Or a 16-year drought, excuse me. So last time they beat them at home, or Yellow beat the Bears ever, was in 2005. Jerome Bez's final year right there, where he saw the defense stamped down on the Bears, snowy game, and Jerome Bez was able to truck Brian Urlacher going into the end zone. So they'll be hosting the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions in the AFC North. AFC West, they'll be hosting the Denver Broncos, and they'll be hosting the Denver Broncos and the Raiders. So excuse me if I said Raiders on the road. So excuse me. The road opponents once again will be against the Packers, Vikings, Chiefs, Chargers, Ravens, Bills, Browns, and Bengals. Home will be against the Bears, Raiders, Broncos, Ravens, Titans, Lions, Browns, and Bengals. So excuse me if so they will not be on the road in Vegas. So that was my bad right there as we take a look at it. So they'll be facing the Raiders at home. So my apologies right there. But anyway, so what do you guys think right now? I know we still got a lot to get settled up with the salary cap coming up. We're not sure how much revenues will be lost exactly. Will this be anywhere near a team where they can at least maintain most of their talent? Because at the end of the day, the Steelers got a lot of free agents right now pending going into this year. As we've been highlighting right now, the unrestricted free agent list looks like this right now. As you take a look at it here, for the most part, going into this, they're going to be having 12 unrestricted free agents with left tackle Alejandro Villanueva, inside linebacker Avery Williamson, outside linebacker Bud Dupree, running back James Conner, punter Jordan Berry, wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, tackle Matt Filer, Mike Hilton as their nickel cornerback. Raven McLeod will be one as a receiver, kick returner, and punt returner. Robert Spillane as your backup inside linebacker. Nose tackle Tyson Alalalu, and Zach Banner as their offensive tackle, which is going to be a lot of stuff right there, a lot of tricks to see if Culver is able to pull this off with Omar Khan going into this year. Because as it stands right now, once again, a reminder for the Steelers who are pressing against the cap for 2021, they're currently at over $21 million. Biggest question is, will they be able to extend Rossberg, which I think they will. Definitely sounds like they want to keep him around. But here's the thing, too. They seem to be promoting Matt Canada right now and trying to have him become like the offensive coordinator for the team. I'm not sure if it's been initially confirmed. I mean, but he is a candidate to be the Steelers' offensive coordinator. Nothing has been finalized right there. I'll be interested to see because I'll be honest with you right now. I know a lot of people are hesitating right now if Ben Roethlisberger is able to stick around. I mean, which I'm sure he will. But how much of it are we going to see the same product right now where if he is a coordinator, how much are they going to do to help him around? How much are the Steelers going to be able to get stuff in the draft? I mean, one of the biggest things, too, when you look at it, I mean, a lot of picks that Kevin Colbert has done in the first round, historically, he's gotten more linebackers in the first round than he's ever done any other position. He's got 6 linebackers within the last 20 years, which is 30%. And then as far as like the next biggest category outside there is a defensive line. He's drafted at least 3 first-round defensive linemen. I mean, the first one being of note was nose tackle Casey Hampton in 2001. Then you also had Evander Hood in 2009 and Cam Hayward in 2011. Same thing with the offensive line. Last time they took an offensive lineman in the first round was David DeCastro back in 2012. The very first one was Kendall Simmons back in 2002 under Cowher's team. And then later on, aside from that, yeah. So that's where I'm really interested to see what they're able to do here. I really do feel like right now what they got. Yeah, so it was Kendall Simmons, Marquise Pouncey in 2010. There's the other one, excuse me. And then David DeCastro. It's going to be depending what's available on there. I'm going to do a little bit more of a mock draft preview coming up. Don't forget, we're going to be having the NFL Combine here. Coming up. So that should be some interesting of note. See what kind of talent they'll be looking at. Here we go. As we're taking a look at it right now, 3 hours ago, announced by Tyler Sullivan of CBS Sports. He's a Raider. And it looks like with the COVID issue, it's going to be wavering for the 2021 season, particularly with the NFL Scouting Combine. The memo sent to all 32 teams on Monday noted that the Combine will be conducted in a different format. The major change for the Combine, as this was breaking news right now as I'm reading it, which was announced 3 hours ago, that the major change is that there will be no in-person workouts at the Combine this year. Instead, any workouts will take place during individual pro days on college campuses. The league stated in the memo that they will work with the schools to encourage consistency in testing and drills across pro days and ensure that all clubs have access to videos from those workouts, irrespective of where the club is represented at a particular workout. So once again, no in-person workouts at the Combine this year. It will be taking place during individual pro days on college campuses, which would be an interesting of a challenge right there. You remember Kevin Colbert announcing that last year, this past summer too, saying how it was going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but they're not going to try and make and sell on any excuses on that. So that'll be a big key, I think, right there. But anyway, getting to the honors right now, T.J. Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick were two Steelers who made it right now to the Pro Football Writers of America, made it on the Pro Football Writers of America All-NFL Team and All-AFCTeam as right now for this year. Khalil Mack makes as an outside linebacker, Minkah Fitzpatrick as a safety. So the odds continue to pile on right now too. Remember, Teresa Varley did note too right now who's been named the Steelers MVP back-to-back years for the first time in a long while. I think that was since James Harrison, but the Steelers 2020 MVP finished the regular season leading the league in sacks with 15 tackles for a loss with 23 and quarterback hits with 41. He's the third player in the NFL to record at least 15 sacks, 23 tackles for a loss, and 40 quarterback hits in the last 15 season. He joins his brother J.J. Watt back in 2012, 2014, 2015, and Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald, who each went on to win Defensive Player of the Year. So hopefully that'll be a damn good sign for him to lock up Defensive Player of the Year. Definitely want to see him get that award at least. But incredible honor, to say the least, right now. Fitzpatrick, don't forget, too, with this year, he led the Steelers with 79 tackles, had 11 passes defended, 4 interceptions, including 1 return for a touchdown against Cleveland in Week 6, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 forced fumble, and a fumble recovery when we look at it, and tied for 7th in the NFL in interceptions. I mean, definitely a beautiful job at the end of the day right now for this guy. As the awards continue to pile on for this guy here. And, when you really look at it, too, aside from that, from, like, the scoring summary, like, on defense, he's been a contributor right there, which helped the team get 3 interceptions, three pick sixes, return for 3 pick sixes off interceptions, no fumble return for touchdowns, but that was a big major contribution we helped do for them. Oh, and also, by the way, to end this right now, in just a moment here, on this day in 1988, witnessed both the retirement of strong safety Donnie Shell and John Stallworth, both 4-time Super Bowl champions. Very honorable to know. And real quickly, let's get into fair or foul real quick. Fair or foul topic number 1, should the helmet be reviewable? Right now, Gene Steratore, who is a former NFL referee and NCAA official, as well as current rules analyst for CBS, was quoted as saying, "I've been a firm advocate of making helmet contact reviewable. It's a player safety issue and extremely difficult to officiate consistently in real time. Ruling correctly on plays involving helmet contact actually benefits from the slower speed of replay." I'm going to say foul this one. I don't like it because I don't want to start opening up a can of worms where you start challenging everything. That's what you do when you have a player who does get hit. You have time to review it during the week. And if he gets suspended or gets a fine, that's on him right there. So I'd rather keep it the way it is, to be honest with you. Fair or foul topic number 2. If an offensive team who is trying to score on a defense and they fumble the ball for the end zone, it should not be ruled a touchback, but instead they maintain possession, but they'll just have to go back 19 yards. They'll be at the 20. They'll start over on the 20-yard line. To be honest with you, I kind of like that suggestion. I think that's fair right there. Instead of losing possession, you keep possession, but you're going to lose yardage. You're going to be pretty much back in red zone scoring position. So why not? So that's going to do it for this edition here of the Mass Steel Podcast. Once again, you guys can follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, at Prodigy Richey for the Mass Steel Podcast. On Twitter, it is at Mass Steel Nation, and on Instagram, at Mass Steel Nation as well. As always, leave it. Don't be trolling, be rolling. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. I gone.